So last time we talked, Autumn Volkov, the heir of my legacy challenge, traveled to Granite Falls with her twin brother, Ezra Volkov, her girlfriend, Addison Chopra, her best friend and crush, Shanna Kealoha, and her pharmacist, Mason Meshroom, for a fun 3-day getaway. The group partied hard, and when everyone was asleep, Shanna and Mason autonomously hooked up. Actually insane. I don't think I've ever told you all this, but Akira Kibo is Shanna's adoptive father, not him texting Mason mid-clap. It's like he knows. LMAO. Shanna was left very unsatisfied with Mason's woohoo skills. Meanwhile, Mason felt great. Typical man, unable to satisfy a woman, she pretty much ignored him for the rest of the night, agreeing to herself that she would never speak of this embarrassing encounter with anyone ever. Meanwhile, Ezra had just woken up, on the verge of a rampage. He tried to calm himself down. He really didn't want everyone seeing him like that, but it was pointless, so he went on a little run to not scare anyone. Autumn woke up and immediately went for some of the leftover adult juice in the kitchen and did some Coca-Cola in the bathroom. Spending just 1 second sober made her want to cry. OMG Autumn. Get it together. You are half werewolf. During his rampage, Ezra ranked up to a tier 2 werewolf. Yes, Addison, because it makes so much sense to run in the same direction as the rampaging werewolf you're scared of. Autumn played some chess with Shanna, and afterwards, went outside to daydream about her. She still had a crush on her, and being in this lodge, locked away with her, made it hard for her to keep her composure. Speaking of composure, Ezra had noticed something about Autumn last night that he'd also noticed when he was a teen. He was going to bring it up in the cemetery while they were arguing next to Jacob's grave, but decided not to, giving Autumn the benefit of the doubt. He now realized that was a mistake, especially since it was barely noon and he could smell adult juice on her breath. He confronted his twin sister and asked if she was on medications. Of course, Autumn lied to his face like how she lied to Nicole's. But just like Nicole, Ezra wasn't buying it, and this was something he was not going to let go. Him and Autumn share a special bond. They're twins, they have twin telepathy. He knows her better than anyone, and he can tell when she was lying. He didn't bother to ask what she was doing. He didn't care. All he asked is for her to be honest with him. He understood that losing Jacob was hard, but she had to come to terms with it and move on with her life. She wasn't the only one grieving him. He had, and Chris had, and all their siblings had, including Rory Oklo. Wait a second, Rory Oklo, what did he mean by including Rory? And that's when Ezra finally dropped the bomb. Rory Oklo is their adopted sister. Autumn was confused, pissed, enraged. How long had he known? Why didn't he tell this to her sooner? He told her he'd known since he was a teen, and that he wanted to tell so many times, but each time was a bad time. But at least she knows now, right? That wasn't good enough for Autumn. He held a huge family secret from her. Ezra apologized up and down, but Autumn didn't want to hear it. Walking away from Ezra and back to the lodge, Ezra would let Autumn calm down. He'd let her have her fun. But this conversation wasn't finished. Back at the lodge, Autumn did everything she could to actively ignore her brother and made sure he noticed. Though she didn't drink in front of him, she didn't want him finding out the truth about her medication use and was hoping the situation with Rory would make him forget it all. But she also couldn't stand being around him, so her, Addison, and Shanna decided to go upstairs and have a girls' night. OMG Shanna, can you stop being such an NPC? It was when they got upstairs when Autumn started drinking again. She told Addison and Shanna about hers and Ezra's stupid fight. How she had a secret sister that no one told her about. Addison and Shanna sympathized with her, realizing that must be a hard thing to come to terms with, so they tried helping get her mind off of it. Talking about things that had nothing to do with her family, like how much fun they were having on this trip and how Autumn did a great job pulling it all off. Hanging with her besties made her feel so much better. She was smiling more than she had in a long time. She forgot how silly Shanna could be, thanks to the medications frying her mind constantly. This was better than medications. She loved them both so much, in their own ways of course. Shanna's a childhood friend. She's smart, sweet, funny, has great style, beautiful. Oh, and of course, she loved Addison too. A few more drinks in, and the girls were drunk, having a blast, and Autumn had a good idea on how to make things even better. She whipped out some Coca-Cola, wondering if Addison and Shanna would be shocked, but they weren't. They were here to party anyways, and all of them had their turn enjoying some. Everyone was absolutely gone. Autumn felt the happiest she had ever felt. She didn't know if it was from the Coca-Cola, or the drinks, or the fact that she had two incredibly beautiful women sitting right in front of her. But Autumn was tempted to use this opportunity as an excuse to take a risk and try something she had fantasized about for a long time. I think you can guess what happened next.